I am delighted to introduce Ra Kalan, an emotional intelligence consultant and international speaker who will talk with us about the power of awareness in times of uncertainty. Ra, thank you so much for joining us today. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Peter. And what a joy to be present with you all today, Boulder. I just have to say, getting to sit in on this meeting with you, it just gives me a glimpse of the heart that's put into the work that you do, the playfulness. And I'm really excited to present and communicate to you today how to keep yourself grounded. I don't think there's any irony that I would come in and work with an agency called Boulder to navigate becoming grounded on a really exhausting and overwhelming day like today. So to tell you briefly, my name is Ra Kalan, they, she pronouns. I'm an emotional intelligence consultant and emotional health coach. But today I'm coming to you as a friend. I'm coming to you as an ally in recognizing that peopling is really difficult, especially when we find ourselves in survival mode. So as was stated, I'm going to give you a couple of pieces of fruit for the soul, not just food for thought, because we can be overthinkers, can't we? And I think our soul needs some loving. So I'm going to give you some fruit for the soul. And then we are going to allow that fruit for the soul to work its way deeper as we practice a body scan activity that's meant to give you tools and a technique that whether you are in traffic, whether you are in the office, whether you are calming yourself down after you picked up your little one from school, you can implement it anytime you're feeling that anxiety creep up. But first, we have to acknowledge our number one tool to navigate the frustrations of the uncertainty that we face, the unknown that scares us so much. And that's acknowledging that our ability to use resilience to self-soothe is a game changer when we face anything that we might feel overwhelms us. And it's our ability to adapt, our ability to bounce back, so that the bounce back comes from a setback that turns into a comeback. Some of you might have heard that before, but we're going to experience setbacks regardless. It's about how we start to transform and evolve from those things. We don't know what today will end like. We don't know whether today will feel like a comeback or a setback. But what we do know is that by using resilience as an inner resource, it's accessible during any moment of uncertainty. And it does mean that we don't ignore the anxiety. It doesn't mean that we ignore the fear, because those are sacred pieces of communication between you and you, just like my emotions are sacred communication between me and me. But it does mean that we acknowledge it and choose how to respond, because otherwise it can often feel as if our emotions, such as those survival emotions like fear and anxiety, those emotions can feel like they are using us instead of us having an opportunity to utilize them. And so I want to call you in and remind you that even though you might not have taken a class on emotional intelligence in school, you do have a lot more say over responding to your emotions instead of treating them like knee-jerk reactions. That's why some of the people you respect and love the most, they are ones who are willing to pause before quickly or abruptly responding, because they don't just want to react, they want to be intentional. And today, on any other day, but especially today, we want to be intentional with how we respond to one another to keep humanity in our conversations. We also want to understand anxiety and fear of the unknown as a whole, because they're not bad guys. These emotional responses are incredibly thoughtful and helpful for surviving. It's just that in 2024, our human brains are still running on some old programming that have us respond in fight, fly, and freeze ways when we get a frustrating email or if we get a cryptic text message. You would think that the world might be falling apart. So on a day where a lot of us have heightened anxiety, it's important for us to recognize that our minds naturally are wired to anticipate worst case scenarios when uncertain times come to the surface. It's our way of trying to make sure that we can pivot and go whichever direction the danger is not in. But when you don't know where the danger is coming from, you don't know where to run. And this is where you grounding yourself, Boulder, comes in. Sometimes it's not always about escaping. Sometimes you aren't going to be able to escape, and that's when you get to see what you are truly made of. You get to learn that you are capable of weathering any storm, even the storms you really were preferring not to have to deal with. So really recognizing that when we highlight how anxiety is often linked to the unknown, triggering our survival mode, triggering our fight, fly, and freeze mechanisms to go off, we can start to implement the awareness of our need for self-regulation. I can understand more objectively, okay, I'm panicked right now. I don't have enough information. I don't feel like there are enough resources to meet all the needs that are coming up. And this is pointing to me feeling an insecurity about X, Y, and Z in my life. There is where the benefit of anxiety comes from. To me, fear is a wonderful benefit that keeps me alive. It's just if they become maladaptive, if they start being items, emotions that are using me and driving me around instead of me driving myself while utilizing my emotions, that's when I can start to become bitter. That's when I can start to become resentful at the rest of the world for not thinking like I think, for not feeling how I feel, or at least not showing me that they can empathize with me. So the more that we can become thoughtful and conscientious of recognizing there is a place for anxiety, there is a place for fear. It's just when we abuse certain emotions instead of being able to slow down, observe them objectively, and then choose how we want to respond to the information they're telling us. Because sometimes fear is right. You should be scared. And sometimes anxiety is right. We don't have all the information. But if we allow that to beat us up instead of using it to get clear on what we need to know to feel confident, that's where we start to fall back. And lastly, this piece of fruit for the soul is what we will be implementing when we get to practice our self-awareness body scan. And that is that the power of the present moment is your greatest gift. See, most of us do a lot of time traveling. We spend a lot of time in the past because there's trauma there that we haven't learned how to release. And that trauma doesn't just dissipate. It ends up lodged and wedged in different parts of our bodies. And then we fast forward to the future because we really are anxious that the past will repeat itself. So we dart back and forth between past, future, past, future. Remember the last election? What about the next election? What is this going to mean? But we never stay right here. Like right here, like this moment, this very minute, these very microseconds happening, where there is nothing to sound the alarm about right now, where we have the needs met and where we are capable of being innovative to think about solving problems that will come, not even may come, they will come. But right now, if we can really utilize our power here and now, we will be more equipped to navigate the uncertainty of what's to come instead of always relying on the past to determine what to do in the future. What happens is that we just take our past and we fold it over into the future. And that's why it's a future you're anxious about, because you didn't implement change where you actually have the power to, which is right now. So I invite you to stay present. And we're going to practice staying present together because I know that it's not a skill many of us are good at. The average person loses their attention about 8 times per minute. And y'all are above average. So I am pretty sure you got a lot going on in your brains, right? So what I want to do is I want to give you some instructions and I'm going to walk you through what we're going to do so you understand the model so you can believe in it and implement it even more. So we're going to do what's called a body scan, and we're going to incorporate breath work into that. Some of you may or may not be familiar with doing body scans and breath work. It's similar to meditation, but it's a mindfulness practice. So when we are engaging our body and our breath, we're using our breath to help anchor us into the present moment. When you are inhaling, I want you to be very mindful of breathing in through your nose, keeping your shoulders down, and allowing your belly to expand. If you've ever been around babies when they're sleeping, you'll notice that their shoulders don't go up and down when they're breathing. That is a defense mechanism that in survival mode we adapted in adolescence. That's that shallow chest breathing. We want to expand outwardly. We want that belly to come out. And then when we exhale, we're going to exhale through our mouth. We're going to push that air out. Yes, natural frog bellies. Exactly, natural frog bellies. So when you are doing this, you're going to keep your shoulders down. You're going to make sure you're in a comfortable position because your cameras are going to be off. You're not going to be being looked at. This is not a performance. This is not something you need to worry about anybody critiquing. This is you with you right now, learning how to do something that will serve you this moment and onward. So shoulders down. And then we will make sure that we are scanning from the top part of our body down. And as we're scanning, I'm going to give you insight as to what you are releasing from each part of this body that we're focusing on. We're going to be starting with our jaw. You don't have any idea how much you carry tension in your jaw. You're going to start with your jaw, and we're going to move all the way down to our hips, thighs, and feet. But all you have to do is exactly what I told you. Keep your shoulders down, keep yourself in a comfortable position, listen to the sound of my voice. And anytime you feel yourself starting to wonder if you close the garage door or what you're going to have for lunch, I want you to come back to focusing on your breath and making sure that frog belly is expanding, okay? I saw some. Can I smudge first? If we had time, I would tell you to get all your tools out, all of your things. I see that I'm in great community. But whenever we are ready, we can go ahead and start the music. Beautiful. Peter, can you hear me okay over this? Amazing. Turn those cameras on off. Take your shoulders and roll them forward, up and back, and then down. Bringing yourself into position to have those shoulders down and that beautiful posture. And I want you to begin by taking a deep, slow breath in through your nose. Filling that belly at the top. I want you to pause, holding your breath. Exhale through your mouth. Empty, empty. No need to hold on. We got another breath coming in. Inhale in through the nose. Hold it. Release through the mouth. Another one. Inhale in through the nose. Really settling into your body. Hold it. Exhale through the lips. Now I want you to find a natural breathing pattern. Something you don't have to think about. But you allow that belly to keep expanding. And you allow those shoulders to relax because you carry a lot. I want you to bring your attention to your jaw, to your mouth. And I want you to notice if you are clenching. And if you are, upon your next inhale, release. I want you to notice if your tongue is at the top of your mouth. And if it is, I want you on your next exhale to release it to the bottom of your mouth. And I want you to take a deep inhale into your throat, focusing that energy into your throat. And then exhale, releasing any unspoken fear or anxiety. Release any of the things you are scared to say, scared to impact others with, scared to speak as your own truth. You must release it to learn from it. So we exhale it out. Cleansing ourselves with a deep inhale in through our nose, deep into our belly. Exhaling fluidly through our mouth. Bringing our awareness to our neck and shoulders. This is where you carry your tension. This is where the fear builds up and weighs on you. On your inhale, gently lift shoulders towards your ears, intentionally squeezing your shoulder blades together. And as you exhale, drop them down, letting go of the weight of the dread and the fear. Another inhale, bringing your shoulders up to your earlobe. Squeezing shoulder blades together. And exhaling and dropping the dread and the fear. Breathing in and breathing out. Remembering that there is always a flow to this. You do not have to hold on. It's about letting go. As we now move to your heart, I invite you to place your right hand, your giving hand, on your chest. And tune into any sensations you might be feeling. Is there tightness? Is there heaviness? Acknowledge it. Do not avoid, do not suppress. Acknowledge it objectively. And take a deep breath into your heart. Not your belly this time. Breathe deep into where your heart is and feel it expand. And as you exhale, imagine releasing any of that tightness in your heart center. It exhales as green smoke. With that right hand on your heart, you inhale deep into your chest and into your hand and into your heart. And you exhale, releasing any anxiety or tightness from your heart. And I want you to repeat this for a third breath. And I want you to visualize your heart opening, opening, opening. Your heart is more courageous, more capable than you know. Give it room to show you. Now I want you to bring your attention to your lower back, where I know you carry tightness and heaviness. And I want you to breathe deeply into your lower back. Breathing into where the tension is, breathing into where the tightness is, and exhaling all remnants that are dissipating away. Exhaling all that no longer serves you to carry. That tightness is not imaginary, and neither is the breath that is helping you loosen it. These are tools you have all the time. Inhale and allow driving that breath objectively to where it hurts in your back to soften the tension and release upon your exhale. You are your medicine. You are your medicine. We will take our last stop now, guiding your awareness down through the legs to your feet. Encouraging that Boulder does not think, does not believe, but knows that they are kept. They are grounded. They are capable. We invite you to breathe deeply into your legs and your feet. If your hips need it, breathe into your whole lower region, feeling yourself connected with the earth that does not care what day it is. She continues to spin and invites you to thrive with her. And exhale, releasing any remaining anxiety. Exhale, finding strength and stability. Exhale, feeling the calm energy flowing from your head to your toes. And as we start to wind down this body scan practice, take an intentional deep inhale in through your nose. Shoulders stay down, bellies expand, and we exhale. Guiding our awareness to this moment where we have everything we need to move forward into whatever may come. Roll your shoulders, bounce your eyebrows, allow a pleasant little smile to pop back on your face, because you are here and you are now and all is well. I want to thank you all for joining me for this little mindful moment. And I'm going to pass it back over to you, Peter.